My day starts just like most people, being rudely awoken by the alarm on my iPhone. I then, despite my best efforts, often spend upwards of 30 minutes on my phone saying good morning to Elisa, my fiance, who's currently in Australia, and then just scrolling through social media. I then get up, get out of bed, and turn around and make my bed. This is something that I've started doing recently. It's not something I ever really did before, but I do really feel like, especially when I'm working in my room, it just kind of starts the day right, sets the room up to now be in working mode, not sleeping mode. I try to start every morning with a workout, and in order to motivate myself to just get up and do it, I have my workout clothes ready at the foot of my bed, so I grab my mat, put on a workout, and get down to it. I really find that those two things, having my workout clothes ready in the morning and doing a set workout, really remove a lot of the barriers to exercising that otherwise might present themselves. Afterwards, I have time to quickly jump in the shower before my morning tutorial. Today I have a full day of teaching separate to my placements. So now that I'm dressed, I take a seat at my desk and settle in for a day of work. This is my desk. I have my iPad set up as like a second screen on my monitor. I'm using my 16-inch MacBook Pro, and then typically I listen to lectures and take part in things while wearing my AirPods, because then I knock out some of the sound from around the house. Having a second screen does mean that you can be doing something else while still paying attention to lectures, which is great. So I'm about halfway through my day of online lessons. I've been doing this IPE, which is interprofessional education, all morning. The morning session was broken down into different patient scenarios. Every group was given a different patient scenario. In my group there was myself, another medic, and 4 adult nursing students. We had a patient who had had a very large PR, which is per-rectal bleed, and we were reviewing a video of some other students dealing with the same situation. Normally this would be something that we would go in, we'd have a simulated patient, all of us would be in the room, we'd all have different roles, we'd be able to act it out properly, but because of the current COVID situation, we just have to watch a recording of what the other students did last year and comment on it. I don't know about other people, I don't know how you're finding your only online virtual learning. I find it really, really difficult to concentrate on tutorials and lectures and lessons and seminars and stuff. Sitting where I'm sitting, sitting at my desk, it's hard. One thing I have found, and probably actually the reason why I'm wearing a hat, is I found that just occasionally I open up my window, let a load of cold air in, wake myself up, because currently where I'm living in my mum's house, and I live on the 3rd floor, up in kind of the attic, hence the weird windows over there. I often don't actually have time to step away from my meeting to go and get a coffee or something, and so I just have to wake myself up in some way.
6.5 hours later.
I've just finished for the day. It was a long day in the end. Added up to maybe 6 hours of Microsoft Teams meetings. Loads of different breakout rooms, lots of talking about professionalism, drug mistakes, professional conduct in the NHS, that sort of thing, which was all very interesting and all very relevant and all much needed, but it goes on for a long time when you have to be sitting here on your computer with your camera on and talking the entire time. I don't know, almost everyone feels this way, but I would much rather have my camera off, my mic off, and just be able to sit here, be on my phone a little bit, but obviously concentrate most of the time. I'm someone who likes to do some stretching, maybe stop and do some push-ups or something to get some blood flowing and be able to actually concentrate for an entire day. I'm definitely someone who much prefers doing things in person. The fun doesn't stop there though, because every Friday and Saturday night I also teach for 2 hours. So Friday nights I teach a GCSE physics class, Saturday nights I teach an A-level physics class, which means that I've got to spend the next hour or so just double checking the plan that I've got for those 2 lessons. I'm going to be doing a mock with them, so luckily it's one that doesn't need too much planning. I can mostly just sit there and invigilate, but it does mean that I'm going to be spending the rest of the evening also on my computer. For that reason, I'm going to do a little bit more stretching, I'm going to do maybe a little bit of exercise, get the blood flowing, wake me up a little bit so I can then be prepared to be engaging and active and smiley and positive for my students. Tutoring is by far the best paid thing I think you can do as a student, especially as a medical student. You have lots of good A-level grades normally, you've got lots of skills in teaching, and it's a fantastic job. I would recommend every medical student try and do some tutoring, try and do some teaching. But it is a lot of work. You have to put a lot of work into preparing your lessons. It's a lot of energy being like positive and supportive and friendly and happy. And I know you have to do this in a lot of jobs. I know that in retail, in hospitality, you also have to be very positive and smiley. You're going to be able to get any tips and not get complaints made about you. But in teaching, you also have to be supportive, and you also have to be remembering the content, because you often get asked questions either in odd ways that you hadn't thought about, or about things that are beyond the content that you were thinking you might teach that day.
2 hours later.
8 o'clock, I've just finished my GCSE physics class. It was a pretty good lesson. I was teaching them about circuits, about voltage, current, resistance, all that good stuff. They're getting it pretty well. I teach a group class. All of my students are actually in Italy, which is a bit random, but they're people taking GCSEs internationally and need a bit of extra tuition. As you can probably see, when I'm teaching, I like to have this ring light very jankily up there on my railing. I have my kids there. I've got extra kind of reading notes so that I know what I'm talking about on my iPad, which is the second screen sharing. But yeah, I can put it on my tripod, but it's just as good to have it up there, and it means that I can use my tripod for other stuff as well. After teaching, I try to relax a little bit. I play a little bit of PlayStation. No, I don't yet have a PlayStation 5. I try to go to sleep at a reasonable time every day, so I aim to be in bed by 10 PM. This hardly ever happens though. I FaceTime Elisa once in the morning and once in the evening. Having a long distance relationship is obviously difficult. We try to spend as much time as we can together so that we're still an integral part of each other's lives. We're both counting down the days till we're back together where we belong. Once I am properly in bed, I tend to watch some YouTube for 30, 40 minutes before it's lights out.